students, I'm Ellie at English Fun Zone, and today we're going to be talking about the Cambridge exams, KET, PET, and FCE. We're going to be focusing on the reading parts, and I'm going to teach you how to look for things, look for groupings, look for vocabulary words, things like that. Some tricks and tips on how to improve your reading score on those exams. Now we're going to start with the KET exam first. So you'll see the screen in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so now you should be able to see the PPT. Now there are 5 parts in the exam in the reading section. We're just focusing on the reading section. Okay. Now, most of my students that take this exam are usually between the ages of, let's say, 8 and 12. So sometimes they take this exam early, sometimes they take it a little later. So I'm going to speak fairly slow so that you're able to understand these tips. If you have any questions, you can always email me at askellie@englishfunzone.com. I'll post the link in the description box below. So here's our first tip. Quickly look at the signs. So we have the signs over here. So we're going to quickly look at these signs. So the first one is adults, 2 pounds 50. This symbol here is called a pounds symbol. So 2 pounds 50. Under 12s eat free. Okay. We're going to look for key words in this sign. We have the words adults and under 12, free. So we have adults, there's a price, and under 12 is free. And free means no money, right? You should know other words. So free means no money, right? So free means no money. Now we look for similar words. We're going to look at these and see if there are any similar words to adults under 12. We're thinking less than 12, meaning child. So children, it's another word for under 12, eat free. We're going to take away this. It says check your answers. Read your answer with the sentence on the left. Don't change your answer unless you know it's wrong. 100% wrong, okay? So let's look at the first one. The first one says, you can't drive this way. All right, so we have to think of the important words here. Can't drive, right? That's the important word, can't drive. And when you drive in a what? A car, truck. And what do you drive on? What's the thing that you drive on? Your car is on the road or street. So these are words you're going to look for on the right. So the first one is about money. Are we talking about money? No. The second one is shoes. Are we talking about shoes? No. Mind your head. Are you talking about your head? No. Are we talking about open 24 hours a day? Information? No, I don't think information. Police noticed. Road closed. Do you see the key word? Do you see the word road closed? That could be it. Let's look at one more sign. The last one is open daily 10 to 6. We're talking about that? No. So it's Letter F. You can't drive this way because the road is closed. So that's how we find the answers. Let's do number 2. Children do not have to pay. And what are the key words here? Children and not pay. They don't have to pay. Pay means money. Did you say money? Right. So children, they don't have to pay money. Right. So now let's look at our signs. Adults, £2.50. And children, under 12. That's children, right? It's free. And free means no money. Now, do we need to read the rest of these? No, because we know for sure, 100%, that A is the right answer. Okay, number 3. You can shop here 6 days a week. You can shop here 6 days a week. Okay, what are the key words? Shop. Do you like to shop? I don't like to shop. But you could shop at this place 6 days a week. How many days are in a week? 7. That's right, 7 days. But you can only shop here 6 days. All right, so A is taken, F is taken. We don't need A or F. We're talking about shoes being repaired? What's another word for repaired? What's another word? Something you fix, right? You fix the shoes. If your shoes are broken or they've got a hole in them or they need to be fixed, you can get them repaired. I don't think we're talking about repairing shoes. Do you? No. Mind your head. Mind your head. Be careful. It could hurt your head, right? Mind your head. That means to be careful of your head. Are we talking about your head? No. Open 24 hours a day. Oh, be careful. It's not 24 hours a day, it's 6 days a week. So just because there's the word day here doesn't mean it's the answer. So don't choose day. Information? Are we looking for information? No, we're talking about, what's the word? Shopping. We're talking about shopping, right? Right. Police, now we have F, so it must be G. It must be G. Let's read it. Open daily 10 to 6, except Mondays. Except Mondays? Except? Yeah, every day but Mondays. So that's the right answer, right? Right, 6 days. Okay, be careful when you stand up. Okay, when you stand up, what happens when you stand up? Yeah, you have to be careful. Mind your head. Be careful. Anytime you hear the phrase mind your step, mind your head, mind your is another way to say be careful. So be careful. Mind your head. Mind your step. When you're walking, mind your step. Mind your. Say it with me. Mind your. Yeah, mind your head. So which one is that? Which one talks about the head? If you said C, you're right. Letter C. Okay. The last one is we work quickly. Quickly, what's another word for quickly? Fast, right? Fast, fast. So which one of these means quickly? Something they're going to do quickly. Well, we know that A is taken. We know that F is taken. We know that C is taken. We know that G is taken. So we're looking at 2. We're looking at B and D. Oh, we're looking at 3. E. We're looking at 3. We're looking at shoes repaired while you wait, open 24 hours a day, or information. Okay, so which one of these means quickly? Quickly. Information. Is that quick? That's just information. That's just something that you need to know. 24 hours a day? Open 24 hours a day? Be careful. 24 hours, that's a long time. That's a full day. That means every day. But it doesn't mean quick. Shoes repaired while you wait. That sounds pretty quick. If you're waiting for your shoes to be fixed, I hope it's quick. You wouldn't want to wait there all day, would you? No. Yeah, so B is the right answer. Okay, let's look at our next screen. Here are the tips for part 2. Quickly look at the answers. So you're going to look at the answers. You're going to think about the meaning of each word. Don't pause when you come to the blank. So when you're reading this, we're not going to pause, we're not going to stop, we're not going to think. And you're going to read the sentence with the word that you've chosen. And think if the words go together. Do they go together? Do they fit in that blank? Do they work? Don't change your answer unless you're 100% right. You see, I tell my students, don't change an answer because usually your first answer is the correct answer, right? Usually the first answer is your correct answer. And if you change the answer, it could be wrong. So only change it if you know that it's wrong and you know that it needs to be changed. Okay, so we have an example here. We'll look at the example. We have the word stood, woke, and came. Now we have to quickly think of the meanings of each of the words. Stood, past tense of stand. Woke, to wake up. And came, come here. Past tense, she came. She came yesterday. Okay, so we have an idea what the words mean. The answer they've chosen is B. Nina woke up. Those words go together, woke up. So if you ever see up and the word woke, that's probably the right word. Nina woke up early that morning because it was her birthday. Okay, let's look at the next sentence. We have interesting, lovely, happy. Okay, interesting means, yeah, something that's, wow, interesting. That's fascinating. That's interesting. That's not quite amazing, but interesting. It's like good to know. Lovely, beautiful. Happy, happy. The opposite of sad, happy. Nina was very because she got lots of presents. Did you see how I didn't stop at the blank? I went Nina was very because she got lots of presents. Now, think about it. If you got lots of presents, another word for presents is gifts, right? So, would you be very happy if you got gifts? Yeah. It wouldn't say, that's interesting. You wouldn't say, that's lovely. You would say, I'm very happy, right? Nina was very happy because she got lots of presents. Yeah. Number 7, decided, agreed, invited. Let's think about the meaning of each word. Let's say decided to decide something, right? You have to decide what you're going to do, decide what you're going to eat, right? You have a decision to make. Agreed? Agreed means, yeah, I agree. Yes, I agree that it is a beautiful day outside today. I agree. Invited? Past tense of invite, and you invite people to a party, right? You invite people to your birthday. If it's your birthday, you invite them. So past tense is invited. So she some friends to her house for a party. What's the right word? She invited some friends to her house for a party, right? Because invited is to a party. And remember, don't stop. Read the whole sentence. The next one, I'm sorry. Next one. Meal, cake, dish. Think of the meanings. Meal is something you eat, right? Breakfast, lunch, dinner, that's a meal. Cake, I hope you don't have cake for breakfast, but cake, like birthday cake. What kind of cake do you like? My favorite is chocolate. Dish. Now, a dish could be two things. A dish could be like a plate, or a dish could be a type of meal, like a Chinese dish, right? Or an Italian dish. I can't talk. Italian dish, right? So a type of dish, right? Chinese, Italian. So it could be either one. Let's read the sentence. Her mother made a big chocolate with happy birthday on top. Now this should be easy, right? A big with happy birthday on top. Of course. Cake. Letter B, cake. Yeah. Okay. The next one is listening, hearing, looking. Now be careful, be careful. Listening is a little bit different than hearing. Listening, it's something you're actively doing. You're listening for something. You're listening to music. You're listening to this lesson, right? It's active. You're actively listening. But hearing is just something that you hear, a noise. You might hear a noise. You might hear someone say, hey. You're not listening for them to say, hey, you just hear it, right? You just hear it. It's a sound. When I ask you, are you listening to me? Meaning I'm talking, I want to know if you're actively listening to me. If I say, do you hear me? It means the microphone, right? Hello, do you hear me, right? Can you hear the words that I'm saying? Can you hear the words? So two different words means two different things. And then looking is different than seeing, because looking, you're looking for something, right? You're looking at information. You're looking at some children playing outside, right? You're looking at something. You're looking for information. Let's read the sentence. Nina and her friends had a great time singing and dancing and to their favorite music. Okay, so we know we don't look at music, right? We're not looking. So is it listening or hearing? If you said listening, that's right, because that's actively listening to music. Right. And remember, don't pause. Okay, if you have any questions, you can always ask me. Don't be afraid to ask. That's the best way to get better, right? Is to ask questions. All right, here's our next page. This is part 3. Now we're ready for part 3. Here, you have to complete the conversation, right? It says, for example, we have, hi, how are you? Hi, how are you? And the answer is, I'm fine, right? That answers the conversation. Again, look at the sentences on the left and look for the key words. Read the sentence and think of how you would respond. Look for word groups or words that go together. And check your answers. Always check your answers. When you finish the quiz, go back and check your answers. Okay, so always go back and check. If you don't have time, don't worry about it. But check your answers, especially if you have time. If you have time, check your answers. Okay, so we're going to look at the sentences on the left, and we're looking for key words. It's time for lunch. Is it a question? No, it's a statement, right? It's time for lunch. So you're not going to ask a question. You're looking for some sort of response. It's time for lunch. It's time for lunch. What do you say? Oh, good. 1 hour. 12:30. Is it asking for time? No, it's not a question. It's, hey, it's time for lunch. And you say, oh, good. Oh, good. So A, if you chose A, that's correct. Now 12 is a question. Would you like a drink? The words that go together is would you. And would you usually means yes or no. It's a yes or no question. And a drink. Would you like a drink? Drink is something you drink, right? What do you like to drink? I like tea. I like to drink tea. So, would you like a drink? The answer could be a yes or no answer. It could be something like, I'd like some tea, right? How would you answer that? Would you like a drink? Let's see if your answer is here. Okay, we have, I don't like coffee. Does this say anything about coffee? No. It would be, would you like some coffee? So it can't be A. Would you like a drink? I prefer tea. Was it asking you what you prefer, what you like? It said, would you like a drink? I prefer tea. Maybe. What about coffee, please? Would you like a drink? Coffee, please. Okay, so which one is the best answer? They both sound right. Which one's the best answer? Which is the correct answer? Okay, if you said coffee, please, that's the correct answer. We don't say I prefer coffee. Would you like a drink is yes, or coffee, please, or tea, please, right? If I said, do you want coffee or tea? If I gave you a choice, do you want coffee or tea? I prefer tea, right? So this would be a choice. Okay, the next one is, how much was your new shirt? The words that go together, how much? And when you see those words together, how much, we're talking about money, 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 money. We're talking about money. We are talking about money. And a new shirt. I'm wearing a new shirt. This is a new shirt. So you would ask me, how much was your new shirt, Ellie? All right, let's think of the answers. It's a red shirt. Did you ask me what color my shirt was? Does it say color? No. It was very cheap. Cheap means, when we say the word cheap, we think of money, 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 right? Very cheap. Now, is that a lot of money or a little bit of money? Cheap is a little bit of money. What's the word for a lot of money? If you said expensive, that's right. Expensive. Okay. So B must be the right answer, right? How much was your new shirt? It was very cheap. It was in a shop. It was in a shop. The question would be, where did you find your shirt? Where did you see that shirt? Where was it, right? We want to know where. It was in a shop. Where was that? Where did you buy it. It was in a shop. Where? Uh-oh. I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry. So, what would be your response if someone said to you, I'm very sorry? Let's look at the answers. I'm afraid so. You said to me, Ellie, I'm very sorry. And I said to you, I'm afraid so. Afraid of what? No, that can't be right. I'm very sorry. And you say, I think so. Huh? No, I think so. I don't think that's the right answer. I'm very sorry. Well, that's all right. That's okay. Never mind. Don't worry about it. Right? So when someone says, I'm very sorry, you would say, that's all right. Or, oh, that's okay. The first one, I'm afraid so. This would be like if you had to go to a doctor and you asked your mom or your dad, am I going to get a shot? Am I going to get an injection? Am I going to get a shot? They might say, I'm afraid so. It's like saying yes, and I'm sorry. I'm afraid so. Did I miss the party? Oh, I'm afraid so. You missed it. So it's like saying yes, but I don't want to say yes to you, so I'm afraid so. I'm afraid so. And I think so means, yeah, I think so. It means you have some doubt, right? You're not sure. You're not 100% sure. You think so. You can't say, I think yes. You can't think yes. And you can't think no. You have to say, I think so. Is she coming over tomorrow? I think so. And the opposite would be, I don't think so. I don't think so. You can't say, I think no. So many students say, I think no. It's, I don't think so. Okay. Any questions? Let me know. Okay. We're going to the next part, part 4. Now here, it's a conversation all the way to the end. In part 2, these are sentences where there's a question or a statement and a response, right? They don't all match, right? This one, it's not a conversation. It's like a statement, a question. I clicked on the wrong one. A statement, an answer, question, and answer. This one in part 4, there we go. In part 4, we have a conversation. And here's what we're going to do with the conversation. We're going to look for the key words again, those important words. If it's a question, what kind of question is it? You have to think about the question. What is the question asking you? If it's a sentence, you might be looking for a question, or you might have to agree or disagree. So, yes, I agree. No, I disagree. The conversation should flow. It should follow the conversation. Okay? Don't skip around. It should follow the conversation. So, for example, we have to start with the example. It helps with the flow. It helps with the conversation. So, you have to think of 2 people in your mind. Think of 2 people. Do you have 2 people? Maybe your friend and you, right? Think of 2 people. Maybe it's me and you. Okay, think 2 people. The first person says to you, "Good morning, madame. What's the problem?" Madame. That's a fun word, madame. "Good morning, madame. What's the problem?" And so they've chosen, "I'm not sure." Right? What's the problem? I don't know. I'm not sure. The brakes aren't working very well. So we know that a mechanic fixes a car, and there are brakes on the car. So we're thinking about a car now. We have two people, a car, mechanic, and you, right? Okay. I could be a mechanic, but I don't know anything about cars. I know very little bit about. I know very little bit about cars. I know the basic things, but like the engine and brakes and fixing those things, I need a mechanic. Okay, so the next one is mechanic asks, "What do you mean?" Right? What do you mean? That means more information. So what, that question means I want more information. So anytime you hear the word what, I'm going to give some information. So let's look at the answers. Now, B is already taken. I prefer the afternoon. Is that explaining the problem about the brakes? No. Oh, one other thing. Now, when you say one other thing, it means one more thing, one more piece of information, one more. But we haven't given any information. You don't have any more information. You want information. So it can't be the second piece. The engine is hard to start. Okay, that's some information. That's some information. The engine is hard to start in the morning. Okay, what about C? Oh, what about E? I work on Mondays. Okay, that's not information. This is information. The engine is hard to start in the morning. That's information. So that could be the answer. I work on Mondays. No. I'm afraid I need it today. How about the weekend? Is that information? Right? The question is, what do you mean? What do you mean? When I brake, the car goes to the left. Okay. So we have D, the engine is hard to start in the morning. That's information. When I brake, the car goes to the left. Now we have two pieces of information. Which one explains it? Which one explains what do you mean? Is it D or is it G? Okay, if you said G, that's correct because that's explaining it. What do you mean? When I brake, the car goes to the left, right? So that's explaining it. Now the mechanic says, I see, we can probably repair that easily. You can leave the car now. Oh, can you, sorry, can you leave the car? I was looking at two things. Can you leave the car now? Yes, I can read. I see, we can probably repair that easily. Can you leave the car now? Right, there's the question. Can you means yes or no, right? Can you do it? Can you leave it? Now, is it I prefer the afternoon? Is it, oh, one other thing? We don't know. So to help you, you should always look at the next one. I'm sorry, we're completely full on Saturday. Okay, so now you're looking for something where they might say something about Saturday. I'm sorry, we're completely full on Saturday. So I don't see anything about Saturday here. Nothing about Saturday here. This is, I work on Mondays. That's not about Saturday. I'm afraid I need it today. How about the weekend? What is the weekend? Saturday and Sunday. Some people say starts Friday night, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So she's saying, what about the weekend, Saturday or Sunday? Because that's the weekend, right? It's on Saturday or Sunday. So I'm sorry, we're completely full on Saturday. So that would be the right answer. I'm afraid I need it today. How about the weekend? I'm sorry, we're completely full on Saturday. And what's the next one? Read the next one. Skip that one. Read this one. Yes, all right. Could you come in the morning? Okay, so we still don't we don't have a date yet. This one says morning. I prefer the afternoon. Yes, all right. Could you come in the morning? We're still not set on a date yet. So I work on Mondays. I'm sorry, we're completely full on Saturday. I work on Mondays. That's not the weekend, so that's on a Monday. So 18, I work on Mondays. Oops. Oh, could you do it on Monday? The PPT is too small. I need to make it bigger. Oh, could you work or could you do it on Mondays, right? I work on Mondays. Oh, could you do it on Monday? Yeah, H is the right answer. Bad teacher, bad teacher. I didn't realize the PPT was cut there. Okay. So H is the right answer. Sorry, we're completely full on Saturday. Oh, could you do it on Monday? Yes, all right. Could you come in the morning? Could you? Again, yes or no? In the morning. And you saw the answer up here. I'd prefer the afternoon, right? Morning, afternoon, night, or in the evening. So I prefer the afternoon. The mechanic says, okay. And we don't know what that is. So we look at this one. I'm not sure, but probably about 30 pounds. And 30 pounds is money, 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 right? So we're talking about money here. 30 pounds is money. So I'm not sure, but probably about 30 pounds. Okay. So what is the answer? I'm not sure. That doesn't sound like money. Oh, one other thing. How much will it cost? Ah, here's the other thing I want to know. How much will it cost? Cost means money, right? So that would be the answer. Okay, how much will it cost? I'm not sure, probably about 30 pounds. That's fine. I'll see you on Monday. Okay, so we have the date, we have the time, and now it's correct. All right, let's look at the next part. I have to make sure that it's big enough here. The next part is we have 3 different things to read. We have the long night, hard work, hospital, or cinema. This seems to be the most difficult for most students. So here are the tips to help you. Look at the questions. Don't focus on the answers. Don't think about the answers. Focus on the question. The question is the most important. Look for keywords, those important keywords, those words that are very important to answer or to look at, to remember. Scan the reading for those keywords, and I'm going to teach you how to scan, or also we also call that to skim the reading, to skim, to look for it quickly. Okay, so for example, it says, which book is about somebody who works with doctors? Okay, and these are the 3 books. Those are the 3 things we're going to read. So the key word here is works with doctors. Okay, so we're going to skim for what are some other things. When you think of doctors, you think of, where do they work? Hospital, clinics. They work with nurses. Okay, so those are some things we're going to look for. Writer, teaching, is a nurse in Northern Australia where she works in a small hospital. She works in a hospital. She must work with doctors. Now let's see if that's the answer. The long night, the long night. See, I didn't have to read all of this, right? I looked for the key words. But if you're unsure, you should read all of it. If you have doubt, you should read all of it. You should read all three if you have doubt. But I'm saying the best way to do this quickly, especially if you're running out of time, to look for other words and the key words, like doctor works at a hospital. And if she works at a hospital, she must work with doctors. Okay. So the next one is, which book is by somebody who has written a lot of books? Okay, so we're looking for a lot of books. There we go. I keep hitting my microphone. All right, so a lot of books. So this is Riley's first book. His first book. Is that a lot? No, that's not a lot of anything, right? It's one book. What's the next one say? The next one says, this exciting story is Joanna Jones's 20th book. 20th? 20 books? Is that a lot? Sounds like it. The next one is Marcy Jacomb, who studies English in London, wrote this story earlier this year. It sounds like that's only one book that she wrote earlier this year. I don't see anything else about books. We'll skim, looking for the word book, or write, or wrote, book. No, don't see anything else. So who wrote the most? Hard work. So we go to the answer. 21 is hard work. 22. Which book is about somebody who is very poor? Now, which one? You have a choice. Which one? You're choosing one, and the word is poor, right? That's the important word. And what are other words that means poor? What are some other words? You're poor, you don't have any money. Money. This whole thing is about money today. Okay, so if this person's poor, they don't have any money. So we're going to skim to see if there's anybody that's poor. We're going to look for the words poor, money, bank. Maybe they have zero money in the bank. So let's skim. I don't see anything with money. Let's look at this one. Skim. Oh, there's the word money. Do you see it? Right? That word popped right out. When you're skimming, you're looking for a specific word. I found the word money. They do not have any money. And that means they are poor. So poor would be B. We don't need to read the next one, right? It says they don't have any money. But if you're not sure or you're scared, again, skim. Nothing. No bank, no money, only this one. And that's the right answer. Okay. Which book is about somebody who would like to work in a hospital? Now be careful. Who would like to? Now that's a conditional. It means they don't work in the hospital, but they would like to work in the hospital. So we already know that David, right? That Maya is a nurse. And works in a hospital. She works in a hospital. Right? And this one is about skim, 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 skim. I don't see anything about working at a hospital, wanting to work at a hospital. There's a carpenter. A carpenter, they make tables and chairs, but nothing about the hospital. What about this one? Skim, 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 skim. She goes to London to study English and medicine, but one day she meets a man who asks her to go to the USA with him. Skim, 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 skim. So she's studying medicine, but she meets someone. The question is, which book is about somebody who would like to work in a hospital? So if this person's already at the hospital, working at the hospital, and this one is studying medicine, well, if you're studying medicine, you would like to work, right, in a hospital. Yeah, you would like to. So if you would like to work in a hospital, it would be hospital or cinema. The next one is, which book is by somebody who worked in a school? Okay, who worked in a school? Now, when you think of school, you think of teachers, students, right? Well, when we skimmed, I saw the word teaching English. When I skim, English teacher, teaching English for several years. Question is, which book is about somebody who would like, which book is by somebody who worked in a school? Right? So after teaching English for several years, so he worked in a school. Right? We know that this one's about carpenters, and we know this one's about a student. So this is the one. This is the answer, letter A. Be careful. Letter A, not number A. Letter B, not number B, right? Number 24, letter A. All right, next one, number 25. Which book is about a difficult journey? Now, when you think of a journey, you think of long drive, long trip, right? You're spending time in a car, long time in a car. Okay, let's skim to find if there are any words that say drive or car or long trip. Another word for journey is a trip. So skim, 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 stop. Do you see the word? Maya has to drive all night. Is that a long journey? If you drive all night? Yeah, exactly. Now, if you want, if you're not sure if that's the right answer, remember you can skim. The next one, skim, 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 skim. Nothing about driving or taking a trip. Skim, 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 skim. Yes, he asked her to go to the US, and that would be a long journey. That would be a long journey because but what will Tina do? It doesn't say that she went to the USA. She's saying, what will she do? It's a question. So we don't know if she went. I mean, she could have gone, but maybe she didn't. We don't know. But what we do know is that Maya has to drive all night. So A is the right answer. They have a difficult journey because they have to drive all night long. Okay. Which book is about a man and his son? Now, we've skimmed. We haven't read anything. We've just skimmed for the answer. We know that this one is the teacher that wrote a book, right? If this is a nurse in a hospital, we know that this is a student making a decision, and we know that this is a father and son, right? Father and his son. They live in Thailand, right? So when we skimmed this, looking for those words, we see father, right? He works with his father. That would be son, right? So we know this would be about a father and son. So if we look at this, which book is about a man and his son? Would be B, right? Which book is by a student? We already know the magic word student, right? When we skimmed, this one's about a nurse, this one's about carpenters, and this one is about a student who's studying. But also has a dream of becoming a doctor. They're studying medicine, right? They want to work in a hospital. They're studying medicine. Now, when you've done this, it should be very quick to do. Then go back and read each one carefully. You see, if you spend too much time reading every word, and reading every word, and reading every word, and then go here to answer the words or answer the questions, it's going to take a lot of time. So I recommend to my students to think about the keywords, right? Written a lot of books, very poor, would like to work in a hospital, worked in a school, difficult journey, a man and his son. Which one is by a student, right? Those are the key words. Go back and skim, 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 skim. Look for those key words. Skim, 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 skim. Look for those key words. Okay? And that's how you would pass this part. After you're done skimming, you should have plenty of time to go back and read each one and check your answers. You should have plenty of time. Okay, those are the answers. Here are some helpful links. You can click on this link. If you download this, you have to go to English Fun Zone, right? You have to go to English Fun Zone here, and you'll be able to download the vocabulary list from this website. It's free. You can also go to my Listen and Read playlist, and these are all stories that are not basic, but they're not advanced. They're right at your level. And you can read them and you can listen to them. And the narrator, the person reading the story, reads very slow and clear, so you can listen to the story as well as read the story. Okay.